Okay, week 3, we're going to go over our foot blocking or Sasae. Right, so where we're going to start with is understanding our foot positions, how to block the foot or to implement the Sasae, and our hand positions. Right, so our hand positions, we're going to just for now go into our A-frame position, our collar tie, and the inside bicep or tricep position. And we need to understand our foot position. So for me to get a foot block on the Sasae, right, it's very important for me to step towards the heel. Right? So if I'm going right or going left, I'm always stepping towards the heel. I'm not stepping away from the leg, because now when I implement any type of movement, I could miss his leg because I'm stepping away from his body. If I step towards his heel and now I pull him, I'm always going to be able to get my foot to touch. So if I step towards his heel, I can touch his foot, right, or his ankle. If I step away from it, it's going to be hard for me to touch his foot or ankle. So it's very important for me to understand always stepping towards the heel in a V line, right? The next thing is understanding that I need movement. So instead of concentrating on the foot block or the Sasae, I'm stepping towards him and then I'm pulling him, right, to get that momentum. If I don't get the momentum, it's hard for me to get the foot sweep or to get the actual blocking of the foot, right? So when I step, I move. If I step the other way, I move him, right? So making him step, right? Now, when we get to the actual Sasae and the foot block, we need to understand two things. I'm actually blocking towards either his ankle, right? And making sure that my heel is over his shoelaces. So now if he tries to pull his leg up, I can follow him. If my heel is off his shoelaces and I try to block it, it's easy for him to backstep. Vice versa, if I go to the mid of his calf and he tries to backstep or step up, I can always keep a sticky hook on him. If I go anywhere towards his knee, it's very hard for me, and you'll be able to either backstep or step back out, right? So when I foot sweep, I can also use my foot, right, to connect to his foot using the ground. If I'm blocking, I want my heel to cover his shoelaces, so if he tries to get a backstep or lift his foot, it's stuck, and I can go all the way up to mid of his calf, and that will be the same concept. I don't want to go anywhere towards his knee, right? It's going to be very difficult for me to get any type of block or any type of foot sweep from there, right? So with the Sasae, I'm going to step towards the heel, add movement, and then I'm going to get a foot block or the Sasae. So I step towards his heel, right? I move him and I block the foot. Again, I step towards his heel. Okay, I move him, I block the foot. Okay, so in a fast motion it will look like this. I step, block. Again, I step, I move him, and I block. Right? If I go too high on the step, right, so I step to this way and I block towards his knee, it's not going to work. He can either stay static or he's going to be able to backstep out. Okay, I need to make sure that I go towards his ankle. So I step and I'm able to get the foot sweep. Okay, so Sasae, the foot blocking in a 50-50 position. Right, so we have this 50-50 position where we chest on chest. I actually always want to make sure that I 80% of the time go towards my underhook, because with my underhook I've got a pulling motion. So same rules apply. I want to always step towards his heel. I don't want to step away. And that's so I can connect to the foot block, all right, or the Sasae. So I step towards his heel and I create movement by pulling and turning my hips. Okay, again, I step towards his heel and I move. Now I add the foot block of adding my heel over his shoelaces and blocking his ankle. So I step, I pull, I block. I step, I pull, I block. So from this angle again, right, I step, I pull, I block. I step, I pull, I block. All right. So from a full motion, I'm going to step, pull, block in one go. So I step, pull, block, and I get the takedown. Again, we can also have a push-pull motion. As he pulls into me or pushes into me, I step, I pull, and I get the block. Okay, Sasae with the underhook or overhook and a wrist control. So we're going to start with the overhook. I have the overhook and I add this wrist control over here. All right, I have to have always good head position. All right, and what I'm always going to do is step to the far foot. Right, what I always want to try and do is step past the far foot and not step towards the big toe, but step past the pinky toe. Right, from there I'm adding in my movement in circling. So I step and I circle. Right, again, a little bit more difficult with the overhook because I have no pulling motion. Right, so I step and I pull. Okay, now I add the Sasae on the opposite side where I'm blocking the foot. Right, so from here I step, I pull, I block. Okay, so from this motion, I step, I pull, I block. Again, I step, I pull, I block. Right, making sure that I'm always trying to block towards the ankle and covering my heel on his toes. Right, now with the underhook, it's a little bit easier because with the underhook, I can either go to the close shoulder or the trap. Right, now when I pull, I actually have something to pull on. So it's easier for me to get any type of momentum. So I have wrist control, I have good head position, I step past his foot and I pull. Okay, again, I step past his foot and I pull. Now I just add the Sasae in, which is that foot block. So I step, I pull, and I block. Again, I step, I pull, I block. One more. I step, I pull, I block. Right.